Good day, folks. Today we're talking about the Henson Trust. What you need to know, especially if you have a disabled child and you want to protect some of that wealth for them. I'm Rob Tatro from robtatro.com, head of the Tatro Wealth Advisory Group here at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. And if you want to learn a little bit more about this and you have some questions, go to www.speaktorob.com. We'd love to set up a no obligation consultation for you to chat about this or anything else on your mind, investments, trusts, whatever it may be. I'm joined today by Adam Buss. Adam Buss is wealth and estate planning specialist here at Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. He's been on the show a bunch of times here, and we're happy to have him today as well.
It's good to be back, Rob.
Hey, thanks for coming, Adam. So let's talk about the Henson Trust. First of all, where does the name originate?
So the name Henson Trust originates from basically a precedent that was created from an Ontario court case. I'm assuming the Henson family that kind of won their case. That's kind of where it came from. Essentially, it's a fancy name or an easy to know name for a disability trust.
So tell me why they can be useful and how you would see it used in planning.
So it's certainly a big advantage to use a Henson Trust. Let's say a parent has a disabled child that they want to leave money to, but that person's maybe not able to manage their own financial affairs, or they're worried that a lump sum of cash might take away that person's disability benefits that they're getting from the government. A Henson Trust is a fully discretionary trust, so the parents still need to name a trustee. Any money that goes through the trust, now this would be a trust that originates from a will. So it'd be a testamentary trust.
Not an inter vivos
Correct.
trust.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't know, I was called to the bar. I'm a lawyer, actually, with my previous career. So I used to dabble in some of this stuff. But anyways, Adam, you were saying.
I was saying. So it does come down to, parents want to leave money, but they're worried that the government benefits are going to get taken away, or the child can't manage their financial affairs properly. Henson Trust allows all the income to be generated within that trust to be sheltered, so it doesn't affect their government benefits going forward. It also means that somebody else is in charge of managing those dollars so that they're well maintained going forward. Okay.
So the assets are, so I pass away. I have a disabled child. I pass away, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I pass away, and in my will, I set up a trust. I name any trustees I want. I can name
Correct.
my brother or siblings or aunts and uncles.
Whoever you trust to kind of look after that pot of money going forward.
They then have full discretion as to how and when to pay this sum to the beneficiary. And I assume there can only be one beneficiary for a Henson
So
Trust?
it'd only be the one individual who qualifies for the disability.
Okay, so now there's a fully discretionary trust. Money is pulled out from time to time. The income that's earned, so that can be invested. The cash itself, that can be invested?
That can be invested. It comes down to the investment powers assigned to the trust as a whole, but it would be, invested in a portfolio, generated income, but all that income being generated does not have to be paid to the beneficiary or taxed to that beneficiary on a go-forward basis.
And the trust itself, I understand one of the large advantages is the graduated tax rate of the trust.
Correct. Yeah, most testamentary trusts have to be taxed at the highest marginal tax rate, but in this case, it gets to be taxed at the normal graduated tax rates as if it was the individual earning the income directly.
So a trust is effectively its own legal entity.
Correct.
And its own personal tax rate. So if the trust makes, $10,000 or $20,000 of income that year, it'll be treated as $10,000 or $20,000 of income, not 10 or 20 plus your income that you're generating outside of that.
That's right. Yes.
So you would, in theory, pay very little tax on that.
It is more efficient that way.
Okay. And then the beneficiaries as well. Now let's talk about setting up an alternate beneficiary for a Henson Trust.
Yeah, so let's say parents have, 3 different kids. One of them has a disability. They want that individual with the disability to be looked after, but they want the money to flow to their other kids if that person passes away. They have the ability to name alternate beneficiaries. So saying if child 1 with the disability passes away, the money can flow to the other 2 kids without having to go through that other estate along the way.
That's a really neat tool. So you get the full benefit of the marginal tax rate. You get to create the trust on death. It's a fully discretionary trust. And you also have the advantage of not having the income impact your other benefits that you might be getting from the government.
Correct. So huge advantage when it comes to that. And often things that we see, maybe overlooked or not properly addressed when we look at estate planning for those families that have somebody who has a disability within it. So, I mean, similar thing, check out the videos on disability tax credit, registered disability savings plan, all those different things we want to look at when we're planning for those with a disability.
Yeah, this is a critical piece of estate planning tool, a critical estate planning tool. If you have a child with a qualified disability, this is something you should absolutely and unequivocally consider. Meet with your accountant, meet with your lawyer, meet with a group like us, your advisor. Because what's really neat about these trusts is they can be invested. They can be invested with a longer term horizon, and it's really part of a holistic estate plan, especially if you have a child with a disability.
You bet.
Okay, folks, if this interests you, you'd like to chat a bit more, go to speaktorob.com. Love to set up a no obligation consultation. I'm Rob Tatro from robtatro.com. Thanks for joining us today.